Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm all trying to find the button. I just realized that this has actually got a kind of key where you stick it in the slot and turn. What a novel concept. All right, fan is way too high for my liking. Some kind of a Hyundai crossover SUV thing. That's like everything these days. At least way too much of everything these days. Radio media off, not for long. Oh no, we're not doing 1015. How about 1011? For some reason 1011 doesn't come in very well over here. I'm at the dollar line. Ooh, we got the HD radio tuner that I'm so fond of. All right, clear out 88. Clear out. '94.5 HD2 already programmed in. I definitely drove this one before. So it's been a very interesting night since Steve left. I'm still a little traumatized by the whole situation with Steve and the old driver. But what happened just now is kind of exciting. So I knew that the only cars I had were over on the dollar side, and there's very few cars at this point. So I'm hitting that thing that happens late at night where when I'm working by myself, which is usually not an issue on Thursdays because usually Thursdays I've got Steve, but where I walk over from the maintenance yard and the gatekeeper area to where the cleans are, and there's just simply no clean cars to drive up. Well, there were a couple of clean gas cars, but of course those would be going to the gatekeeper, most likely, which puts me a pretty good walking distance from where I need to be. So I decided instead to take one of the electric cars. And I always enjoy a nice little drive and a Polestar too, so that happened. And put it on one of the chargers because, as I've said before, we're now mostly using the charger bank over by the Dollar Car Wash. And I saw somebody like doing some loops over there. I don't know. I saw somebody check an electric car over there. And I didn't actually see who the person was. I just saw, vehicle, blinking lights, obviously somebody driving a shag, drive by an electric car very near the charger where I plugged into Polestar. So I figured it was probably somebody working electric cars. Well, come to find out, it was some Hertz employee. I don't know if she's a manager, or I honestly don't know what she is or who she is. I know her name is Ray. That woman was absolutely stunning. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm still in shock by just how abso-freaking-lutely beautiful and sweet that woman was. But yeah, as she was looping around, this is the second time I've stopped at this area to get a pink hat and forgot that I'm out of pink hats in the middle spot. So, yeah, that was not what I expected, and I was even more shocked that she stopped for me because she doesn't know me, but I appreciated it. But yeah, she had her purse and some other stuff in the passenger seat, but she scooted it right over for me and seemed pretty eager to have me get in with her. And I just asked her if she'd give me a ride up to the dollar maintenance line, and apparently she didn't exactly know where that was, which is fine. Like, I don't expect everybody to know where everything is, even management if it's not something that they don't manage. Oh, this car is going to be super annoying because my seatbelt isn't buckled. Like, I'm going so far with it right now. Literally going down the line right here. But yeah, she kind of went flying out the ramp into that area, which makes me so nervous. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going right there. And she just like jammed on the brakes right in front of the maintenance cars. Yeah, that was quite the exciting little drive with Ray. Hope I see Ray again. She's gorgeous. It's like, well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Daniel. And she's like, oh, I'm Ray, like a ray of sunshine. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, you are. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm in a Kia Soul. It doesn't have HD radio, unfortunately. Bye. She looks like she's straight up sleeping. There's an unusual amount of vehicles with no keys sitting in over here in dollar returns. I'm doing my best to clear out dollar maintenance before the end of my shift, although it's 10:08. It's debatable as to whether or not I'll accomplish that because it takes quite a while for me without a shag driver to get over to dollar returns. So there is a scene playing out right now over in the section called 3, where there are a bunch of customers looking very frustrated, standing around, and it looks like the only vehicles in that section are Chevy Bolts. People that come to rent a car, unless they're coming specifically to rent an electric car, and those people are enthusiastic about renting electric cars, but unless they are those people, they don't want an electric car. They don't want to be stuck in an electric car. Hertz's thing is, for whatever tier of rental car you're in, whether you're going to Gold or whether you're going to President's Choice or you're going to 3, I think 3 is the lowest tier, you're supposed to be able to choose whatever it is you want. Literally all I saw when I rolled by just now over in 3 was Chevy Bolts. And the last 2 times I've passed that section, I've seen that group of customers before. I've got stuck in the middle of that group of customers before, with them wanting me to help them and me not being able to do anything other than tell them to go back to the rental office. That, yeah, the only thing that's over here is electric vehicles. I don't have anything else. It's an awkward thing, and I wish I had a solution for it, but I'm way at the bottom. You know what I mean? I'm not the person who fixes those kind of problems. So the manager, whose name I've been trying so hard to remember the last couple of days, had to bring this in to see what color it was. In the dark, it's really hard to tell the pink from the orange. And I was pretty sure those were orange, but I wasn't 100%. So yeah, this is going into the PMS line. Yeah, so that manager's name is Mayar. And I just had a borderline awkward interaction with him. It ended really positively, but at first it was awkward. Like, he's like, what are you doing? But once I explained it, he actually seemed really enthused that I've actually been so on top of everything with that AR on rent situation that we're going through right now. And I'll explain more about that later. Well, this is turning into an interesting night. This is the most contact I've had with Mayar, maybe ever. So this is definitely my last car of the night. Some kind of a Honda. I'm not sure if it's it's a 4-door sedan. I'm not sure if it's a hybrid or not. It kind of looks like it might be, but I don't know, they put a lot of econo type stuff into the menus of every car these days. So I'm not sure. I just want the radio on, dang it. So 10:28 p.m. Yeah, very much the end of my shift. So, as I was saying before, I had just gone over and I saw a driver putting a car into the line where the AR on rent problem cars were going, which yesterday, second half of my shift, that ended up becoming a big part of my job yesterday. Wow, there's like a whole group of people just congregating at the edge of the parking garage over there by 3. Probably smoking, because it's generally speaking, there's no smoke in the parking garage, but people will go to the edge of it and smoke and just kind of blow their smoke out of the garage, which, I'm not fond of it, but it's harmless. But yeah, there's a whole group, and I got a feeling they're just sitting there and waiting until a car comes up that's not an electric car, or at least not a Chevy Bolt. I feel bad for those people, but there's nothing I can do to help them. So anyway, I saw a driver. I'm coming up, and there's not a lot in the way of cars to take back over to Dollar Return, which is the only place I have maintenance cars to pick up. And I see somebody pulling up into the line for AR on rent. And I've been kind of babysitting that since yesterday, because frequently people put stuff there that don't belong there. And most of the time, the stuff that gets put there that doesn't belong there belongs in a maintenance line. So I end up grabbing it and putting it where it belongs in maintenance. So anyway, somebody came up and put one in. I was thinking it was an MLS driver, but they didn't have a vest on. Well, apparently Meyer has put together a small crew of Hertz people, and he's proactively working on the AR issue tonight. Oh, I'm sitting there stopping by the hats. Let's just go into the registration wall. It says registration renewal. So anyway, I'm going to explain more about that as soon as I get out of here. As I said, it's 10:30, and this is most definitely my last car of the night. Unless there's something sitting in the gatekeeper. I mean, I got to pass by that on the way to the time clock anyway. All right, y'all, it is 10:40. I'm finally heading out. Oh, shoot, and I'm almost forgetting my recycling. Well, I can't do that now, can I? All right, it is 10:44. I'm really out of here this time. And I'm realizing that the whole situation with Steve messed up my head so much that I left a bag with 2 drinks in the shag and my new flashlight that I got yesterday. I really like that flashlight. Well, easy come, easy go in the car treasures. And the drinks are a little frustrating, but whatever. I think it was, I think I had a bottle of Mountain Dew in there, 16.9 ounce bottle of Mountain Dew, and also a, I'm not sure what size, the kind I get in the cases from Costco, bottle of Arizona green tea. Well, not a huge loss. I mean, shit, Steve probably lost his job, and new old dude probably lost the use of one of his feet for the rest of his life. I don't know. I don't know how bad it was. I really don't. All I know is that man's screams are going to haunt me for a while, and he couldn't walk. And what really got me, I really like Steve. I want to be supportive of Steve. I do. But later, when I was riding with him, after it had happened, is when it all went down. Steve had told me to just go ahead and grab the maintenance car that we were next to, and that he was going to take the new guy over to the van and talk to Jesse. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. As I'm just shaken by the whole situation. Well, that took an uncomfortably long time. I don't know what the deal is with that ATM, but it's super laggy, and it came on in some kind of weird accessibility mode, and I had to go through a menu to shut it off and then put my PIN in again before I could do my deposit. Anyway, that was awkward. All right, I got a car coming in here with only one headlight. So 10:55 p.m. I really thought that ATM would save me some time, but it sure as hell didn't feel like it. And the guy managed to walk up to it right before I did, as I was getting out of my car, and he took an obscenely long time there. And he seemed to be super frustrated with it, and then he left in what appeared to be frustration and walked around the building. And at the same time, like, 2 cars rolled up and parked in the spaces a ways behind me. So usually when I'm using the ATM around 11 o'clock at night, I'm just quite comfortably alone. There's just an unusual amount of traffic in and around that bank right now, and an ATM that's unusually laggy. Anyway, I got my deposit handled. I got a notification from, I think an email notification from Chase that I was a little bit overdrawn. Not enough to be alarmed, as long as I get money in the bank before the next business day, it's never an issue. And didn't even have to go to Wells Fargo to pull any money out from there. I still had a little bit of money left over in my pocket from the Halloween party that I DJ'd last Saturday. Oh, I just missed that arrow. Yeah. I hate that red left arrow there. Yeah, with the car in front of me already turning left, I knew I would have been stuck for the whole cycle, waiting for that thing to turn green again. And yeah, you got time for that. Oh, I'm tired. I was wanting to go pull my withdrawal and get my money order for my rent. Actually, I think I still want to do that. I wish there was a Wells Fargo near here. There used to be a Wells Fargo just south of downtown on Central, but that branch has been closed for a few years now. I think it closed in 2020. I'm just debating what the best route is for me, whether I want to... Priscilla's wanting me to go to her place. I was thinking she might have just knocked out for the night, but she did text me back. I texted her about the whole incident at work. I didn't really give her any details at all. I just said there was an incident at work that had me really shaken up. But I told her it didn't, directly, that I wasn't responsible. I wasn't injured, and it didn't directly involve me, but I was still really shaken up. And she said, "Well, that's a good thing, isn't it?" And I'm like, No, it's not a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing that I'm not the one that got hurt, and it's a good thing that I'm not the one that caused the accident. But that doesn't make this a good thing. This is a bad thing, no matter how you slice it. So I was debating between going uptown. I think I'm just gonna go home. And I might handle that on the way to Priscilla's, assuming I still go to Priscilla's. I did get some groceries, and I just want to drop those off at home. I'll probably lay down on my bed and decompress for a little while before I head back out. Tonight has been a bit much, to put it mildly. I'm taken back to a conversation that I had, I don't know, within the last couple of weeks with Andre, probably while working on a Sunday afternoon. I enjoy working with Andre. I just never get to work with him a whole lot, but usually we work together for a while on Sunday afternoons. Anyway, we were talking about Steve's driving and how it sometimes can be a little scary. And he told me that he wouldn't get in with Steve driving, and I'm like, I'm all right riding with Steve. He said, but I make sure I got my seatbelt on. And we were kind of joking about, it wasn't a question of if, but when Steve was going to be in an accident, because there have been so many near misses while I've been riding with him. But they're always just like little things. And then I had envisioned Steve having an accident, of us bumping into another car with both of us going a maximum of 15, 20 miles per hour. And me being just fine, seat belted in. I will give Steve credit. He rarely goes faster than 20, which is the posted speed limit on the lot. Every now and then I might get up to like 30. And they're just in certain clear areas with certain cars where I'm comfortable, where I know there's absolutely no pedestrians, no other vehicles, no obstacles. But I guess I never envisioned what happened tonight. And then after Steve had dropped the new guy off with management, I'm surprised they didn't tell him to just stay there, that they sent him off driving after that. I mean, after I messed up the tire and brought the SUV with the messed up tire to the tire line, I mean, that was it for me driving for that day. Like, Hertz had me fill out an incident report, and once I was done with that, I went into the MLS office that was at home. So I was really surprised when I had put the vehicle away when he said he was going to drive the guy to see, because this guy's freaking out. He's like, I need to go to the hospital. I think I'm bleeding. And I'm just like, I'm really sensitive to that sort of thing anyway, so I'm just really shaken and trying not to have a panic attack from it. And so I was relieved I was able to just take another vehicle in another direction and not have to be directly a part of it or ask any questions. And I was really surprised when just a few minutes later, after I parked that car and was in the process of moving another one down on the maintenance yard, that Steve drove up in the shack that we were in when it happened. I think it was a GMC Acadia, a mid-size SUV. So, but what really threw me was Steve just being angry at the old guy for not getting in the car quick enough. Well, he's screwing around getting in the car. Well, I'm like, dude. And especially for Steve to say that, because Steve doesn't walk so good. So, I mean, Steve is usually pretty slow getting in and out of cars. And it's very rare that I would be driving a shag and Steve would be getting in. It has happened on a couple occasions, but it's not very often it happens. But when it does, I mean, I'm just patient while he gets in, and I wait until he's got the door shut. I don't always wait until he has a seat buckled, but I definitely wait until I hear the door shut before I move the vehicle any. And I guess Steve is just so used to working with me, and as quickly as I get in and out of the vehicle, and we had moved a couple of two cars. Myra had told us early on that anything with chip windshield, just bring it down, just scrape the paint, bring it down to the dollar car wash. One of those kind of nights. And so we hit two like that. I told the new guy, the old guy, the new guy who is an old guy. We can clarify that. His name was Dave. To just follow me. That's where we're taking it. And so when we stop, I'm scraping the paint off. I told him, it's like, well, if you last a couple of weeks of maintenance, I'm sure they'll give you your own knife. And I said it kind of jovially. And I just move a lot faster than he does. I'm me, and I walk a lot. I tend to walk quick. I've had quite a few people comment, like, you walk really fast. I got shit to do. Hell yeah, I'm rolling by myself. I walk fast. But yeah, I had enough time to scrape all the paint and then walk around the vehicle, and I guess I just got in, and Steve probably just not used to there being anybody else with us. And I think as soon as I shut the door, he started moving, and the old dude was still in the process of getting in. I ran over one of his feet. I think that's what happened. I was going to talk more about Meyer. really not much to say other than it was kind of awkward. Like he was curious why it was I kept looking over that line, and then I gave him a rundown of like what I had done since I had run into him yesterday, and he sort of explained what the AR on rent problem was, and we talked a little bit more about that. Apparently that's a software glitch that he's actually got somebody at like some high level of Hertz corporate office dealing with. Last night I just piled them all up and we left them for Fleet to deal with today, and I just made 2 nice neat lines of them and made sure that everything that got put in those lines that didn't belong in those lines got taken out. But tonight we needed cars. We're real short on cars. Like I said, there was a crisis going on in 3 where a whole bunch of people were looking at having to choose between a Chevy Bolt or like 4 or 5 other Chevy Bolts, and they wanted a car they could put gas in. So yeah, when it's like that, Meyer's always doing everything he can, sometimes a little more than he maybe should, to get cars up and available for rent. And I was impressed that he was actually actively working on that he was on the phone with corporate people at some other location trying to straighten those cars out and actually clearing off that line. But yeah, I kind of explained to him like what I've been doing, and anyway, we just kind of discussed it, and that was cool. And what he actually had me do, because I explained to him, I'm maintenance. I'm trying to get over to the dollar maintenance line and get the last couple cars out of there. And what he had me do is take electric cars that had been brought to the main Jersey over at Hertz. Like, go ahead and you can go ahead and just take that over to the dollar car wash. They can wash it. That way you're where you need to be. And I'm like, that's awesome. Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to go inside and decompress for a bit. Because at least I know my Chase account isn't in the red. And in my position at work is okay. But I don't have tomorrow night or the next night off. I'm working I'm not sure how long the shifts are. I think I'm working a 10-hour shift and a 9-hour shift. I've never seen 9-hour shifts at HelloFresh before, but it's an 10-hour shift, a 9-hour shift on Friday and Saturday nights, respectively. So I need to get in and get my groceries in. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on the drive.